A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online session on programming for problem solving course. In our last video, we have concluded your third unit, and we said in today's unit, in today's class, we are going to start a new unit. So quickly, in today's session, we'll be discussing the pointers concept from your fifth unit. If you see your fifth unit, we have two important concepts. Like the first one is pointers, and the second one is files. Okay, pointers and files. So inside these pointers, first of all, we have to know the idea. We have to get the idea of pointers, and then we'll see how we can do the definition, declaration, and initialization of a pointer. Then use of pointers in self-referential structures. This is towards data structures, we can say. Okay, so then we also see the notation of linked list. Okay, only the notation we will see, but the implementation will not do here, and that implementation we'll see in your upcoming semester subject, that is data structures. Okay, the complete implementation of linked list and all we'll see over there. So yeah, over here, the reason for going for this pointers concept from your fifth unit before discussing the fourth unit is many of the concepts are closely related to these pointers. Okay, many of the concepts in your fourth unit, they are closely related to these pointers. So I thought, it is my personal opinion that before going to discuss those concepts, let's just have the clarity on these pointers. So after discussing what a pointer is and how to do the declaration and definition, we'll be ready for the discussion of your fourth unit. So we'll go accordingly. So before going to your fourth unit, we'll discuss this pointers concept from your fifth unit, and we'll conclude this pointers concept over here, so that we'll be ready for fourth unit. Okay. So in this fifth unit, uh, we'll discuss, we'll have the idea of pointers, and we'll discuss how to do the declaration, definition, and initialization of a pointer, and how to use that pointers in our programming. And this use of self-referential structures and notation for linked list, this we discuss after completing your fourth unit. Okay. So before the discussion of fourth unit, here we will discuss only one and two concepts from this fifth unit. Okay. So quickly, we need to know what exactly is a pointer, and after that we'll go and we'll see the other uses of these pointers in C programming. So if you see in our computer, the entire computer memory is having some unique addresses. Okay, every memory location inside your computer memory, it is going to have a unique address. Okay, so because your computer memory is having addresses, your what we call the CPU, central processing unit inside the computer, it is easily accessing that memory locations. Okay, or we can say it is having the direct interaction with the computer memory. Okay, so every computer, if you read the first point over here, every computer has addressable memory locations. Addressable memory locations are nothing but every memory location is going to have some unique address. Why I am saying unique over here in the sense, because if we talk about a particular memory location, the address what that memory location is having, it is going to be unique. No other memory location inside the computer is going to have the same address as this memory location is having. Okay, that's the reason we are saying unique memory locations. Okay, and whatever data manipulation we have done so far, I mean whatever data you required in your computer program, we basically did that by storing the data inside variables. And those variables, how we identified, in the sense with the help of variable names. Those variables names are nothing but the identifiers. Okay, so whatever data manipulation so far we did with the help of variable names we did, and those variable names are nothing but your identifiers, and we assigned a unique identifier for every variable, and with the help of that identifier only we accessed the variable content, we manipulated the variable content, we printed the variable content, isn't it? So nowhere we discussed the concept of address till now. Okay, so from now on, whatever manipulations, whatever access, whatever printing we do, we try to do with the help of pointers. Okay, so what advantage we are going to have when we use these pointers in our C program? In the sense, see, the pointers, when we are talking about these pointers, they are going to, I mean, pointer in the sense you fix the concept of addresses in your mind. So whenever I say pointer, something we are going to do with the help of addresses. We are not going to do with the help of identifiers. So it is a second way of accessing your memory locations. You remember in this way. So one way is with the help of identifiers, we are accessing the memory locations. Simply we are giving a variable name, and with the help of that variable name, we are accessing the memory location. Okay, that is the normal way. Okay, so far we did whatever we did, how we accessed all the variables in our programs, in the sense with the help of identifiers only we did. So this pointers concept, it is a different way. Of course, it is not a new technique, it is already existing. Okay, it is already existing, but it is a different technique, it is a different way of accessing the memory content, okay, using addresses. So whenever we are talking about addresses, whenever we are accessing the content with the help of addresses, we are going for pointers. So how it is different? I mean, using identifiers, using pointers, we have two different approaches. So how using pointers is different? I mean, are we going to have any special advantage when we use these pointers in our C program to access the memory locations that we see over here? Okay, of course there will be advantages, there will be some applications, there will be some flexibility. Because of that reason only we are using pointers in our programs. Okay, if there is no such thing, then why we go for pointers, isn't it? So pointers have many uses in C. In that, the first one is they are one of the efficient way of accessing the data for manipulation. So whatever manipulations we are doing with the help of pointers, if you do the manipulations with the help of pointers, those manipulations or those accessing of data will become an efficient way. Okay, efficient in the sense it will consume less number of less number of computer resources. Okay, so that's the reason we are saying pointers are the efficient way of using the data, manipulating the data in our computer program. Okay, not only that, they also provide ways, efficient ways. Not only the access will become efficient, they also provide ways, efficient ways to manipulate the data. So this is also one of the use of your pointers. Okay, they are used in function pass by address parameter. So we discussed when we discussed functions, we discussed there are two different ways in which we can pass the parameters. The first one is pass by value, and the second one is pass by reference. Yeah, this is where we use pointers. Okay, whenever we are talking about pass by reference, there we are using the pointers. Okay, pointers are the means of implementing pass by reference mechanism. Okay, and in dynamic memory allocations, this concept very soon we are going to discuss in your fourth unit, dynamic memory allocation. So pointers are the mean to allocate the memory dynamically. So whatever memory allocations we have done so far, it is static memory allocations. We have not discussed anything related to the dynamic memory allocations. So when we go for dynamic memory allocations, the pointers are the means. Okay, without pointers, dynamic memory allocation is not possible. Okay, so what exactly is a pointer? A pointer, it can be a constant or it can be a variable. Okay, that contains the address of another variable. Okay, a pointer is a variable that contains the address of another variable. So a pointer, we can define it as a constant, or we can also define it as a variable which contains an address that can be used to access data. So why we are using that address? In order to access the data, in order to manipulate the data, isn't it? So storing the address in a pointer, it is having some meaningful usage. Because of that only we are going for pointer. So pointer, when you are declaring, it holds the address of another variable, and that address holding, why we are doing in the sense, in order to access the data or in order to manipulate the data. Remember this one. So um, yeah, so whenever we are going for pointers, they are built on pointer constants, and have values as we have values which we are storing inside variables, and those values we are saying unchanged. So whenever we are saying 20, the 20 represents the 20 count. We can't make 20 as something else, isn't it? We can't consider 20 as something else. In our programming or in our mathematics, 20 represents a constant value, a constant count. Okay. In that same way, whenever we are talking about pointer constants, we set in computer we are going to have different memory locations, and all those different memory locations are going to have their own addresses. Okay, so when we are talking about pointer constants, we are talking about those addresses only. We are talking about those addresses only. Pointer constants are nothing but the addresses of the memory locations, and they are fixed. And who will define those pointer constants? In the sense, the manufacturers of your computer memory. The manufacturers of your computer, or the manufacturers of the computer memory, they will define, I mean, they will give those pointer constants to your memory locations. And at any point of time, it is not possible to change the address of a particular memory location. It is a fixed thing in your computer. When, as long as your computer is existing, as long as your computer memory is existing, that long it is not at all possible to change the address of any memory locations. It is a fixed entity. It is a fixed entity. The address is a fixed entity. So it is something like you consider all the memory locations as houses in a particular city. Understood? So we are considering the memory locations inside a computer as the houses in a particular city. So these houses, these buildings or these houses, they are going to have their own house numbers, and those house numbers are nothing but the addresses. So suppose if a postman wants to go to a particular location, he will make use of that address. Okay, if a postman or if a delivery guy, if he wants to reach to a particular house, how he will do that? With the help of address only. And as long as those houses are existing in the particular city, okay, it is not possible to change the addresses of those houses, isn't it? So in that similar way, you can consider all the computer memory locations as the houses in a particular city. Okay, all the computer memory locations as houses in your computer, and they are going to have fixed addresses, and changing those addresses, it is not possible, and we call all those addresses as pointer constants. Okay, so, and these pointers, whenever we are dealing with pointers, they are built on the concept of pointer constants only. Because we have pointer constants, we have pointers in C programming. Because we have addresses for memory locations, we have the concept of pointers. So inside pointer variables, we are going to store those addresses only, and these addresses we cannot change. Simply remember, we cannot change. Okay, so yeah, next thing, pointer constant. A pointer constant is an address value that specify or represents a memory location in the computer main memory. So as we said, whenever we are talking about a pointer constant, it is an address, isn't it? It is an address. It is a specific address which indicates a particular memory location inside your computer's main memory. So similar to your house, if you're talking about a house address, it indicates a particular house in the city, and that house, it is going to have a unique address, and you cannot change that address. Okay, like every other constant in computer world, a character constant cannot be changed, isn't it? So we set integer constants, all integer constants, they are fixed values, and at any point of time we cannot change the integer constants. Same thing applies to character constants. When we are saying a character A, it means a character only, and we cannot make that A character as something else. It represents character A in computer memory or in universe, and that character A will be character A forever, and we cannot make that character A something else. Okay, so every time a program runs, all variable in the computer will get different addresses, because every time whenever you are compiling or whenever you are executing your program, so ultimately all the declared variables, whatever variables you are declaring and whatever variables you are defining in your computer, all those variables will get memories, and when they are getting memories, they will also get the addresses, because we said every memory location will have a unique address, isn't it? So that thing will happen automatically. And who will allocate those memory locations to the variables? In the sense, your computer, your operating system will allocate. Okay, pointer constants are drawn from the set of addresses of a computer, and from where we are getting these memory locations. We are having memory pool, free memory slots in our computer, and those free memory slots from the pool will get allocated to our variables, and those free memory slots will have unique addresses. Okay, and how long these memory locations will be linked to our variables? In the sense, as long as your program is running. Okay, you started the execution of your program and your program is under execution, all your variables will get the memory locations, and those memory locations will have their addresses, and how long they will exist, how long they will be linked to our variables? In the sense, as long as your program is under execution. Once you stop the execution of your program, they will get released, all those memory locations will be released from your program. Okay, and yeah, we can use them, these memory constants, these address constants, we can use them, but we cannot change them. Remember this one, this is a very valid point and this is a very important point. We can use the addresses, but we cannot change them. Same thing, if a delivery guy wants to deliver something to a particular address, he can use that address, but he cannot change that, isn't it? So this is about pointer constants. So as you can see over here, all these are characters. Okay, we have a character pool. Okay, we have a character pool, and all these are my characters. Okay, all these are my characters. And when I'm talking about a particular character A, let us say we are talking about a character A. This character A in this entire universe, it will be A only. Okay, it will be A only, and we cannot change the meaning of that A, and A remains A forever. Okay, and nothing else. A remains A forever. Same thing, same whatever, same discussion, whatever discussion we have done just now, that discussion will apply to G, X, C, K, X, for all these characters. They are unique things. Okay, they are unique things, they are unchanged things, we cannot change them. Even if we insist, if we want, we can't. Okay, so likewise, whenever you are creating a variable, a character variable, let us say I am declaring a character variable, and what name I have given to this variable? In the sense, a char. My identifier for this variable is a char, and when I am declaring this a char variable, okay, when I'm creating this a char variable, when I'm giving this identifier to my a char variable, okay, I'm getting one memory location. Okay, I'm getting one memory location, because character will occupy only 1 byte of memory. So I'm getting one memory location, and in that memory location, let us say I'm storing G value. Let us say I'm storing G value. From where we are getting this G value? From this universe of characters, from this range of characters, whatever characters we have in computer world, from that characters we are getting G into this variable a char. This is my value, and this entire thing is variable, and this variable, when we are taking this memory location from the computer, it is going to have some unique address. So this is my address, it's a numerical value, basically it is an address. So whenever I am declaring a variable, let us say I am saying int a of 20. So we said this a variable, it will take some memory from the computer, and where this 20 gets stored, and this memory location, it is also going to have some address, some unique address, like this. So this is the value. Okay, this is the address. Okay, and this is the identifier. Okay, so using this identifier you can access this memory location, and also using this address you can access this memory location. Now from now on we are having two different identifiers, two different what we call ways to access these memory locations, one with the help of identifier and the other one with the help of address. Okay, one with the help of identifier and one with the help of address. Using identifier, we are already quite familiar with that one, how we can use the identifier in order to access the memory location. And now we will see and we will learn how we can access the memory location by using the address. Hopefully you understood. So see over here what I am doing. I am declaring see how it is storing. When we are declaring a character in my program, we have the memory pool. Okay, we have the free memory slots, and from that free memory slots, your computer is automatically taking this particular memory slot to store the G value. Okay, to store, to make use as a character variable, because we have declared a character variable in my program. Because we have declared a character variable in my program, your computer is allocating some random memory location from memory pool. This is my memory pool. All these are free slots, as you can see over here. Okay, and all these are having their own addresses. Okay, all these are having their own addresses from address pool. Okay, so here when we are taking this memory location, it is having this address. This memory location may be some different address. This memory location may be some different address. Likewise, all my memory locations are going to have their own addresses from address pool. This is my address pool. This is my memory pool. This is my character pool. Okay, from these character pool, we are storing this character into this achar variable, which is going to take a random address from the address pool. So remember this one. Okay, so yes, now how we can get the address of a particular variable? In the sense, simply, we have done this many times before this discussion as well. Getting the address of a particular variable, what we have to do, we have to use this particular symbol. We call it as ampersand, isn't it? We call it as ampersand symbol. This symbol, ampersand symbol, is used if you put this ampersand symbol before the variable name, like this, before the variable name. What you will get? You will get the address of that memory location. We will get the address. Simply we have to use this ampersand symbol before the variable name to get the address of that variable. Getting the address of the variable is nothing but whatever memory location that variable is occupying. Whatever memory location the computer is assigning to that particular variable, we will get the address of that memory location. Hopefully you understood. So to print the address, whenever you are taking the address of a variable, you can also print that variable address on the output screen to check it. So to print the address of a variable, we use percentile p. Okay, so now yeah, this is conversion code, as you know. So what conversion code we are using? The conversion code we are using percentile p. So we already know few conversion codes: percentile d for integer, percentile c for character, percentile f for float and double, likewise percentile p for pointers. Percentile p to print the address value of a variable. What address the variable is having inside your computer, to know the address of a variable, we use percentile p. And pass the address, how come? Simply like how we are passing the address in scanf, keeping ampersand before the variable name. Okay, in this way we are passing the address to a variable. So now I will demonstrate. I will create a pointer. I will show you. I will create a variable and I will show you what address that variable is having. Okay, so quickly just go to the program. That is nothing but your IDE. Go to the IDE, open a new file. Okay, source file, and here I am keeping my program. So that is hash. How we start? Hash include stdio .h. So I suggest all of you to practice these programs. Main of void, and here you declare two variables. Now I am declaring character variables. Okay, next is print the addresses. I'm just creating, I'm not storing any value, just I have created. So ultimately your computer will allocate some memory to these variables A and B. As these two A and B variables are character type of variables, how much memory they will consume means only 1 byte of memory. Okay, so 16-bit, 32-bit, irrespective to the compiler type, your character variable will consume only 1 byte of memory. So that memory location, what address it is having, that we will come to know when we print the address. Okay, how to print the address? Simply put percentile p space percentile p, and now pass the addresses. How we can pass? And percent a comma and percent b, like this we can pass. So very simple program. I have declared and I have defined two variables, a and b. Okay, so when I'm defining two variables a and b, I'm not initializing. You have to observe that point over here. I'm not initializing. I'm just created and I'm just declared and defined two variables of type character a comma b. Now after creating, when you compile the program, ultimately these two variables will take some memory location from the computer memory. Okay, so when they are taking memory location from computer memory, they will also have some address. So that address I am printing over here. To print the address, we set conversion code percentile p percentile p. Save the program, give some name, exp example on pointers dot c. Okay, example on pointers dot c is my program name. Now go compile. As you can see, yes, it is giving some issue to me. Yeah, here we forgot to put the semicolon. At the end of printf statement, I forgot to put the semicolon. So that I am keeping. Now compile. As you can see, compilation successful. Now execute. See the address values of these two variables. So this is the address. It is basically an hexadecimal value, as you are seeing F and E also over here. Okay, number systems, when I explained, we said hexadecimals will have up to F. So when you are getting E and F in the address, it is an hexadecimal value. Okay, so this is the address of A variable and this is the address of B variable. Hopefully you understood. So creating the variables, getting the addresses of those two variables. Okay, so now go to your PPT again. So already I have demonstrated how we can create the variable and how we can print the address of that variable. Hopefully that concept is clear for you. So next is pointer variable. Not only creating the variable and accessing the address of that variable, we can also have pointer variables in our program. So pointer variables, because every variable is going to have some unique address, that address you can store into some other variable. Okay, so when you are having values for variables, that values we are storing into other variables as well. So when you have addresses for variables, that addresses also you can store into other variables, and you need to put one important point in your mind whenever you are dealing with addresses. Okay, suppose if you have a variable of type integer, let us assume if you have a variable of type integer, that address you can store into a pointer of type integer only. Okay, if you have a variable of type integer, you can store the address of that integer variable into a pointer of type integer. So here what I mean to say is pointer should be specific to the type. Okay, so pointers should be specific to the type. So to store the address of a variable, we need a special type of pointer, a special type of variable. That special type of variable is nothing but your pointer. So whenever we are storing the address of a variable, we need a special type of variable. That special type of variable is nothing but your pointer. And creation of pointer, it is type specific again. So if you want to store the address of a integer variable, you need to create an integer pointer. If you want to store the address of a character variable, you need to create a character pointer. If you want to store the address of a float or double variable, you need to create a float or double pointer. Okay. Uh, yeah, for a single variable you can have many pointers. There is no limit on these many pointers only you can have. For a single variable you can have as many as you need, that many pointers you can have. Okay, yeah, if a pointer variable, so when you are creating a pointer variable, it will have some garbage address as well. So Garbage address in the sense it will have some random address into it. So definitely when it is having some random address, it is going to point some memory location, isn't it? And if you don't want your pointer to point any location in your computer program, let us assume in this way. Okay, so if you don't want your pointer to point any location, like it is something like doing assigning your variable to 0, because whenever you are creating a variable, it will have some default value, it will have some garbage value into it, isn't it? So how we are removing that garbage value from a variable, from a normal variable, in the sense simply by assigning that variable to 0, isn't it? If you assign the variable to 0, it will have some meaningful value. Of course it is not going to have anything. Having 0 is also having a type of value only. Understand this one. Having 0 also having a particular type of value only. So when you want your variable to have some meaningful value, what we are doing, simply we are assigning that variable to 0, so that the variable will have 0, some meaningful value, some known value in your program execution. So in that same way, when you are creating a pointer, and if your pointer is not assigned to anything, it will have some garbage address. That garbage address ultimately going to point some memory location in your computer. And if you don't want your pointer to point like that, okay, some unknown address, if you don't want your pointer to point some unknown address, simply what you have to do means you have to assign, you have to initialize your pointer to a special type of address, that is null address. Okay, special type of address, that is null address, null pointer address, null. So when you do like this, what will happen, your pointer will not point anywhere. And this null pointer, it is a standard input output, it is provided inside standard input output stdio.h header file only. The meaning of this null, okay, the meaning of this null is provided into stdio.h header file only. Remember this one. So once again I will explain this concept to you with more clarity. So suppose if I am declaring a variable, let us say integer variable, if I am declaring an integer variable int a, let me just make this more clear. So when I am declaring a variable int a, so what will happen, as I have not done initialization, so if I print this printf percentile d comma a, in modern compilers we'll get 0, because in modern compilers we have the concept of handling garbage values. So my dev cpp, it is a modern compiler, so ultimately I will get the output as 0 over here. Okay, let me just show you this difference. So I'm going to the compiler, so remove this, and I'm declaring a variable int a. Okay, now I'm printing the value of that variable printf percentile d comma a. Okay, I'm printing the value of a. Save this program, program got saved. Now compile, compilation is successful. Now execute. See, we are getting 0. Why we are getting 0 means because my dev cpp, it is a modern compiler, it is an advanced compiler. So in advanced compilers we have the concept called handling of garbage values. So ultimately what my a is gaining, in the sense initial value as 0 it is gaining. If you go to Turbo C or any older compiler, when you declare the variable and if you don't do the initialization, and when you come execute the program, you will get some garbage value for a. Okay, you will get some garbage value, some unknown value for a. So how we can overcome the problem of garbage value, in the sense simply by initializing our value, our a to 0. Specifically you have to do the initialization, initialize the variable a to 0. So now there is no possibility of getting garbage value even in traditional compiler. I'm not talking about advanced. Even in traditional compiler you will get the value of a as 0 only, because specifically we did the initialization to 0. So when you compile and when you execute, you will get 0 only, isn't it? You will get 0 only. So now we have the understanding why it is getting 0, we have the understanding, isn't it? So in that same way, when you declare a pointer, suppose if I am declaring an integer pointer, so to declare an integer pointer we have to use like this, int star ptr. So now this ptr is a pointer of type integer. So if you print the address of this pointer, So how we are printing generally the address, simply take backslash n over here just to have the separation between the variable and variable value and variable address. Okay, printf. So when you print the, I mean, as you can see, this pointer ptr I have simply declared. I have not initialized. I'm not storing any address into that one. So when I'm printing the value from this ptr, so simply print like this, because ptr itself holds the address, isn't it? ptr being a pointer variable, ptr itself holds the address, so no need to use the %. Okay, so when you are printing the content of ptr, that is nothing but what address it is holding, what address ptr is holding. When you try to print that, so simply compile, compilation is successful, and run. See, it is holding some garbage address, some unknown meaningless address. So what we have to do, or we can say the starting memory location address, because all zeros it is showing, so starting memory location address. So what we have to do, yeah, in order to make this to point nothing, in order to make this to point nothing, simply initialize that thing ptr to null. So now I'm having some meaningful address stored into this ptr. So null means point to nothing. Okay, point to nothing, no memory location in short. So when you print it, yeah, again it is showing 000 only. So basically it is nothing but it is a null value only. When it is printing all zeros, it is a null address. Okay, so as my, I mean, if you want to see the actual behavior, I mean, how initializing null will change your program, how initializing 0 will change the program, you have to go for a traditional compiler like Turbo C or something. Because I'm using a modern compiler, yeah, even if I'm not initializing this 0, or even if I'm not initializing this null, by default my variables they are taking zeros, and by default my pointers they are taking nulls. Remember this one. Okay, so now after this discussion we have to go to the next slides. I mean, accessing variables through pointers. So how we can access the values what the variable is holding. Okay, what a pointer variable is holding, in the sense we have to make use of the indirection operator. Okay, we have to make use of the indirection operator. That indirection operator is nothing but the star operator. Indirection operator star. So when you use this star asterisk indirection operator, so you will get the address from the value. Okay, you will get the value from the address, sorry, you will get the value from the address. So let us assume a scenario over here. So we have declared a variable a. Okay, we have declared a variable a, so that is int a, like this, equals to 20 I have initialized. Int a equals to 20 I have initialized. So now what I am doing, I am declaring a pointer. Pointer, how we can declare? Int star ptr. So I have declared a pointer also. So now this pointer is capable of holding the address of integer variable. This pointer ptr is capable of holding the address of a variable of type integer. Because it is an integer pointer, it can hold the address of an integer variable. So now what I am doing, ptr is equals to %a. So what is %a? Address of a. So that address I am storing into ptr. Okay, that address I am storing into ptr. So this scenario it's better to discuss on whiteboard. So I am going to the whiteboard. So delete this one. So what I have done, in the first statement I have written int a is equals to 20. Okay, so when you do like this, you will get one memory location, dedicated memory location to store this 20 value. That 20 value will be stored inside this memory location, and the identifier for this memory location is a. Okay, and assume this memory location is having some random address, some 14002FEA, like this. It is having some hexadecimal address value, some random, because we don't know, and it is very difficult to remember, I mean, what memory location my variable is going to take. So I am taking some random address. Okay, so next thing what I am doing, I am declaring a pointer int star ptr. So now ptr is a pointer capable of holding the address of a. That is nothing but integer variable, capable of holding the address of integer variable. So next, in next line what I am doing, ptr is equals to %, and percent %a. So what I'm doing, I'm storing the address. The address is nothing but this thing. I'm storing this thing into PTR. Okay. So quickly, when you declare PTR, it is also a variable. PTR is also a variable. It will have some memory. It will have some memory, but it is a special type of variable. It is a special type of variable as a pointer variable. So what we have done over here, we stored the address of A into this PTR. So what is address of A? This is address of A. So 14002FEA, like this. We stored the address of A. So indirectly, this PTR is pointing to this A. It is pointing to this A. Okay. So it is a pointer. PTR is a pointer which is pointing to A. Because it is holding the address of A, it is pointing to A. So now I have different ways of accessing this memory location. So the first way, how I can access this memory location in the sense, first way, printf %d simply with the help of identifier A. Okay. Simply with the help of identifier. When you put A, what output you will get? On the output, you will get 20. So in next line, if you write printf \n %d, okay, then star PTR. So as I said, if you have the address, apply star to address to get the actual value. If you have the address, apply PTR means this address. So when you apply the indirection operator, we call this star as indirection operator. So when you apply the indirection operator on address, you will get the value. So applying the star, applying indirection operator on address, what we are getting? We are getting the value. So what value you will get? So this address, it is pointing to 20. This address is nothing but the value 20. So you will get the address value, that is 20. So like this. So quickly we'll go to our slide, and what other concept we have? Yes, adding 1 to A. So adding 1 to A we can do in many different ways over here. Adding, you want to add 1 to this A, so you can say A plus plus. Okay, simply that is nothing but A value will get incremented by 1, or you can say A equals to A plus 1. In this way also you can increment the value, or you can also say star PTR equals to star PTR plus 1. So adding in this address value plus 1 and storing in this address only. So what will happen? A value gets incremented. So in all these cases, A value will become, or you can even make like this, star PTR plus plus. You like this also. All these four will give you, okay, addition of 1 in this A value. So you will get 21. If you do like this, 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 in all four cases, your A value gets incremented by 1. Hopefully you understood. Simply the concept is same. Wherever you have A, in place of A, you have to put star PTR. Same. The meaning is same now. But using pointer whenever you are doing the manipulation, using pointer whenever you are doing the accessing, the access will become efficient. Already we discussed in the uses of pointers. So this concept also I have covered. So the next thing, yeah, over here you can see x value. What I am doing, I am storing 4. When you are writing x is equals to 4, what will happen? You will get x value as 4. Then you are incrementing x value as 3, and you have p as a pointer to x, q as a pointer to x, and you are storing x as an identifier, p as a pointer, q as a pointer, and x as an identifier. This is my memory location. This is my memory location, and for this memory location I have p, q as pointers and x as identifier. So using identifier I am initializing the value. So what will happen? X variable will hold 4. So this is before this statement, and this is after this statement. After this statement, what will happen? X value will be, x will become 4. The memory location will hold 4. So the memory before this statement, the memory location is holding 4. Now what I am doing? X equals to x plus 3. I am saying I am incrementing the x value by 3. So Using identifier, I am changing the memory location content. So what will happen? So this memory location will hold 7. We'll get 3 gets added to that memory location. So we'll get 7 now. So again, here before this statement, my memory location is having 7. So I am saying star p is equals to 8. Star p is nothing but this memory location only. So that memory location will hold 8 now because we are initializing to 8. See here, star and x. This is x only. Star and ampersand. These two are inverse to one another. So if you apply both, they will simply get cancelled. Okay, they will simply get cancelled. So yeah, here, see here, yeah, before going to that, we need to discuss one more thing. Yeah, over here you just come. So come over here. See, we set x identifier when you are using. What you will get? You will get the value. Okay, identifier you are using, so you will get the value. So if you apply star x, what you will get? The address of x you will get. Address of x you will get. So if you apply star and x, again you will get value. Indirection on address, so again you will get x only. So these two operators, they cancel one another. They are simply inverse to one another. These two simply cancel one another. So like this you remember. Okay, so this is x is equals to star q plus star p, we are saying. So star p means this address, I mean this value only, indirecting q address. So you will get 8 only here. So indirecting p address, so that 8 only. 8 plus 8, these two get cancelled. So inside x we are storing 16. So your memory location will hold 16 now. Okay, so again, see here, x inside x, what we are doing? Yes, star p, that means 16, indirecting p 16, and this is multiplication operator. Star q, you will get one more 16. So 16 multiplied with 16, 256. Like this you will get. Okay, so simply you remember, when this indirection operator is used for two different purposes. One is to indirect the value, indirect the address from the, indirects the value from address, and another to declare the pointer. Okay, to declare a pointer we use asterisk symbol, that is star symbol only. How we are declaring a pointer? Using asterisk, that is star symbol only. Okay, yeah, in this way we are, see here, a normal identifier, how we are declaring? Simply type you put and identifier you put, variable name you put. This will declare a normal variable like this. Okay, so if you want to declare a pointer, what you have to do? Type followed by star. So if you want to declare an integer pointer, put int star ptr. If you want to declare a character pointer, character star ptr, like this. If you want to declare a float, float star ptr, like this you can declare the pointer of your need simply by suffixing, we call it as suffixing asterisk after the type. Simply suffix the asterisk after the type so as to have the meaningful pointer in your program. So now we have to demonstrate the usage of these pointers. I mean, how we declare, how we store the value, how we store the addresses, how we indirect the value, and how we indirect the address. All those things we need to demonstrate. So quickly go to the compiler. So this is my compiler. Let me just check the time, how much it is elapsed. So it is like 48 minutes, so still we have like 10 minutes. So in that 10 minutes I will demonstrate this one, and we will also discuss some of the points, and pointers to pointers we'll discuss in our next session. Okay, only pointers to pointers and void pointers, pointers and arrays, that we will do in our next session. And in one more session I am going to wind up this pointers concept, and after that we will start fourth unit. My target is in this week we have to complete your fourth unit. Hopefully fourth unit plus this pointers concept from fifth unit. So that will be 4.5 units, isn't it? So that will be 4.5 units. After that we left with only half unit that we can cover after this discussions. Okay, so we'll be having full-fledged of time for the discussion of important questions, important SAQs, LAQs, unit-wise, previous year university question paper-wise, model question paper-wise. We'll have next week. We'll have mock test as well. I will forward you some important questions. You have to prepare those important questions and you have to write in the mock test. Okay. So next week on Saturday, I will be conducting PPS mock test. Will take possibly one section. It is possible, right? So I will conduct that mock test to CSE A. Okay, that is CSE 1 students. So quickly we'll go and we'll demonstrate. So what I'm doing over here, I'm declaring two variables, or else we can say only one variable, that is integer a. Okay, so next I'm declaring a pointer of type integer. How we can? Int star ptr. So then yes, assign some value to a, 4. Okay, so then store the address of a into ptr and %a. Here what we are doing, storing the address of a into pointer. So now if I printf, okay, printf the value of a and address of a. Address, how we print? Using %p. Okay, conversion code %p we have to use. First I am printing the value and next I am printing the address. So like this. See, now ptr is holding the address of a. So I will show you this one. So just shift to, yeah, so far what we have done in the program. So far what we have done in the program, first statement I am declaring a variable a. So when you declare a variable a, it will consume some memory, that is like this a. Okay, so I stored the value over here 4, isn't it? I stored the value over here. So when I'm writing this statement, yeah, this %p will print the address of a. So just execute this program and check the address of a. Check the address of a. Compile. Compilation successful. Now run. See here the address of a. I'm not writing these zeros. I'm not writing these zeros. I will write only 62FE14. It is saying 62FE14. So what is my address here? Just go. Yeah, this variable's address is 62FE14. This is my address. So I will write all the concepts. This entire thing is my what? This entire thing is my variable. This entire thing is my variable. Okay, and over here this is the value which I stored inside this variable, and this is address associated with that variable, because just now we printed that address. You can see over here, just now I printed the address of a variable in the program, and that address I am getting 62FE14. So this is what? This is the identifier of my variable. Identifier, like this. You remember this entire thing, we call it as a variable. So just see. So after that, what I have done in my program, I'm going in my program, what I have done, after storing 4 value to a, I stored the address of a into ptr. I declared another variable ptr, that is a pointer variable. ptr, a special type of variable, pointer variable. And in this pointer variable, what I am doing, in this pointer variable, I am storing the address of a and %a. I am storing here and %a. When I printed the address of a, when I printed, I got 62FEA. Okay, so same thing we are storing into pointer. So 62FE14, 62FE14. So indirectly what I am doing, this pointer, it is going to point this a only. Indirectly it is pointing. Okay, it is the indirect access. Okay, so whenever you want to print the address of a using this pointer, simply you have to put ptr. So this ptr will give the address. If you want to access the value using this address, what we said, apply the indirection operator on the address, you will get the value. So now the same thing, whatever I am printing over here, Okay, whatever I am printing over here, the same thing if I want to print, but with the help of pointer ptr. If I want to print, how I have to do? Printf, okay, then you put percentile d, percentile p, okay, value I want to put, print, address I want to print. So using ptr, ptr is address, so apply indirection to get the value. So ptr is the address. To print the address, simply print ptr. That's it. So now you see, to get the value, I'm applying star, that is indirection operator on the pointer to get the value, that is percentile d, will print the value. To get the address, what we are doing? We are simply printing ptr. Now, as this ptr is also pointing a, whatever value you are getting here, the same value you have to get here, and whatever address you are getting from here, you have to get the same address from here. Okay, just check that one. I'm simply keeping one backslash n over here just to have the separation in what we call line. So now go compile, compilation is successful, then you execute. Just see this one, see 4 value, 4 value. Okay, to some extent it is meaningful, but when you see the address, same address I'm getting, 62FE14, 62FE14. What it indicates? So whatever address A is having, that same address we are storing into PTR, and being a pointer variable, it is holding the address of A. Isn't it? Being a pointer variable, it is holding the address of A. That's the reason when I'm printing PTR pointer, I'm getting only the address. And to get the value from this address, we have to apply the indirection operator, that is asterisk operator, star operator. Hopefully you understood this one, this mechanism. Yeah, it is a very, very, very important concept, believe me. Okay, so the next thing, just go to the slide and check what we have. Yeah, you see, when we do the practice of these pointers in our class, we'll go with all these things. Okay, this particular thing. Yeah, even if you want, I can show you, or else you can even practice, because already I have shown you how to access the pointer, and how to get the address from a pointer, how to get the value from a pointer, everything we discussed. So you can easily practice these things in your decoder application. Okay, so I'm moving ahead. I'm going to the next, the concept, that is declaration versus indirection. Sorry, redirection. Declaration versus redirection. So, or indirection we can say. See this asterisk operator, the star operator, whatever we used in pointers, it is having two different uses. Okay, that is nothing but it can be used in two different contexts. What are they in the sense? This asterisk operator. Asterisk operator is nothing but the star operator. So it can be used in two different contexts. That is, the first one is a declaration, and the other one is a redirection or indirection. Redirection or indirection. So when it is used, okay, before in declaration, okay, it indicates the pointer type. When it is used in declaration, it indicates the pointer type. Like, see here, int star. Here we are using star. So int star, what it is doing? It is giving the integer type of pointer type over here, and it is making this ptr as an integer type of pointer. Okay, it is making this ptr as an integer type of pointer. And when it is used in redirection to access the value from the address, we have to use this star with the variable name, as you can see over here, with the variable name. Over here, aptr is pointer's variable name. It is holding some address, and you are applying the indirection on the address, so you will get the value over here. So this ptr will become pointer, and this star aptr will become the value, and star bptr is also same thing. In order to get the value from the address, that is nothing but redirection or indirection, we are using asterisk operator. And in order to make the type as pointer type, we are suffixing this star after the type. Okay, so int star will become the integer pointer, character star will become the character pointer, float star will become the float pointer. Likewise, if you suffix this star after the name of the type, after the type, it will become the pointer type. Okay, and if you prefix the star asterisk before the variable name, it will perform indirection. And prefixing star is allowed only with pointers. Remember this one. This is another important point. Prefixing star is allowed only with pointers. You cannot suffix you cannot prefix star with normal variables. Okay. So initialization of pointer variables, like every other object in C, pointers must be initialized before they can be used in C programs. Initializing is nothing but you have to put some valid address inside a pointer to make it functional. Okay, without the address, your pointer will become a meaningless thing, isn't it? So like variables without initialization, pointers will also have an unknown garbage value in them. So your variables will have garbage value, so as your pointers will also have garbage value when they are initialized. And this particular point is not applicable to your modern day compilers. So like DevCpp, already we have seen, by default your pointer is taking null value, and by default your variables are taking zeros, isn't it? They are not holding garbage values. So, but if you go to your traditional compilers like Turbo C, ANSI C, or some other versions of C compilers, you will see the difference over there. Whenever you leave the variable uninitialized, definitely it will hold the garbage value. And whenever you leave the pointer uninitialized, definitely it will hold some garbage value. So to avoid holding the garbage values, in case of normal variables, integer variables, initialize them to zeros, and in case of pointer variables, initialize them to null values so that they will not hold the garbage value. Hopefully you understood. When program starts, all uninitialized pointers will hold some unknown address which are pointing to some unknown values. So that is nothing but unknown addresses are nothing but your garbage addresses, and definitely they are going to point some unknown values, garbage values. Okay. So yeah, pointers to pointers concept we will discuss in our next session, and with this concept we are concluding today's session. And as I promised, very soon we are going to wind up this concept pointers, and then we'll start your fourth unit. And hardly I won't take more time for this fourth unit. In 3 to 4 classes I will wind up the concept of fourth unit, concepts in fourth unit, and then we left with half of your fifth unit that very soon we are going to conclude. Thank you very much, students.